G major is a very common chord and you can find it played on countless songs. There are a few different ways to play the open chord. The first way is how it is written in my lesson. It uses the first, second and third fingers like this. You place your first finger on the second fret on the 5th string. You then take your second finger and place it on the 3rd fret on the 6th string. Finally, you take your third finger and place it on the 3rd fret on the 1st string. Some people may have trouble using their third finger to play the note on the 1st string. If you have trouble stretching out that far, practice the exercises in my other lesson as they'll help you stretch out your fingers. If you still have trouble, you can swap from using your third finger to your 4th finger like this. You are still playing the exact same notes, just using a different finger. Another way to play this chord is to use your 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers. You place your second finger on the 2nd fret on the 5th string. You then take your third finger and place it on the 3rd fret on the 6th string. Finally, you take your 4th finger and place it on the 3rd fret on the 1st string. This way is less common because it stretches your hand out a fair bit. Notice that it still uses the exact same notes. For now, stick to the first way I showed. You may see G major written another way. It may include an extra note on the 2nd string like this. Instead of playing the 2nd open string, it plays the 3rd fret. Either way is still G major and okay to use. Some songs use the open 2nd string and some use the extra finger. Whenever a song says G major as one of the chords to play, check which way the guitarist plays it. Although it is still the same chord, it will give a slightly different sound. Whichever way you play G major, check that all the notes ring out nice and clear by picking each string separately like this. All 6 strings should ring out. A minor is another very common chord that is played in countless songs. This chord uses only 5 strings, so remember not to play the 6th string. Start off by placing your first finger on the 1st fret on the 2nd string. From there you place your second finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string. Finally, you take your third finger and place it in between the other two on the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. When playing this chord, make sure your first finger doesn't accidentally touch the 1st string. Also, make sure your third finger doesn't touch the 2nd string. If all your fingers are in the right place, the chord should sound like this. If you are having trouble with your fingers touching strings they're not supposed to, make sure you're using your fingertips and your thumb isn't reaching over the top of the guitar. Practice these chords just like the other two you learnt in the last lesson. Start off by strumming back and forth between G and A minor. Strum each chord 4 times before changing. Aim to keep a constant rhythm, starting slow like this. You now know 4 chords: E minor, D major, G major and A minor. The next step is to practice changing between every possible combination of chords. Some changes will be easy, like changing between A minor and E minor. Other changes you may have trouble with, such as G major and D major. Start off with the changes you feel most comfortable with, and then work your way through the harder changes. After you have a go choosing 2 chords and strumming between them, choose a combination of all 4 chords. For example, you may choose D major, then A minor, then E minor, then finally G major. Strumming 4 of each chord will sound like this. easily play any combination while keeping a steady rhythm, you can move on to learning new chords.